Good morning, students, and welcome to class today. Today's class, we'll be looking at a very pertinent and crucial topic, and we are going to start by this question. How do you feel when you want to air your opinion and you are denied the opportunity to do so? If you look at these pictures, we will see one picture representing a kind of democratic setting, which apparently might be a direct democracy. In the other hand, you will see a picture of people trying to cast their vote during an election. It is also a form of expressing an opinion. And that brings us to the next topic that we have: capitalist democracy. Instructional objectives. At the end of the lesson, students should be able to explain the meaning of capitalism, democracy, and capitalist democracy, explain the features of capitalist democracy, explain the factors that can impede the survival of democracy, explain political parties in capitalist democracy. As a student, you need the following sources and textbooks for you to read and study more and to help you improve in your studies. Definition of basic terms. Meaning of capitalism. Capitalism can be defined as an economic system where the means of production and distribution are owned, managed, and controlled by private sectors or individuals. What that simply means is that in capitalism as a system of government, very few individuals who are rich are those that control the economy. For instance, in Nigeria, we have the person of Aliko Dangote. He is a capitalist and he contributes to the development of the economy of Nigeria. Now, let us look at democracy. What is democracy? The etymological coinage of democracy is from two Greek words, demo and krasia, or you can say kratos, meaning people and rule, respectively. Therefore, the simple definition of democracy is the rule of the people. When you juxtapose the two terms, demo and krasia, you can get what we mean by democracy as the rule of the people. According to the ancient Greek philosopher Plato, he defined democracy as the rule of the mob, which implies the rule of the crowd. It used to be a system of government that has been from the past, which started from Athens in Greece. And as at then, democracy was seen as a bad system of government. But in the present dispensation, we can see democracy as one of the most beautiful forms of system of government. And that is why Abraham Lincoln defines democracy as government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Academically, democracy can be defined as a system of government where all qualified adult citizens participate in political affairs of the state, which means for you to be part of democratic setting, you must be an adult and you will develop the willingness to participate in the decision making of the state. It is also a system of government where the opinions of the majority are heard and the interests of the minority are protected. What prevails in a democratic setting is the majority. That does not mean that the minority's interests will be relegated to the background. It simply means that the minority interests will also be incorporated in the system of government. Having said this, let us look at capitalist democracy. With this picture, we can analyze that an individual is in charge of the whole thing in government. One person sits on the throne, one person controls the economy, the person controls the oil sector, the person controls every other aspect, electricity. As you can see, is an individual with about 6 or 8 arms. This image replicates what capitalist democracy is all about. Now, what is capitalist democracy by way of definition? We can define capitalist democracy as a socio-economic and political ideology in which the economic system is operated by the principles of democracy. In this case, it is a system that blends capitalism with democratic policies. It blends capitalist principles with democratic principles. Therefore, in capitalist democracy, you find capitalists, that is the people Karl called the bourgeoisie, managing the economy based on the principles of democracy, which is based on the principles of the Constitution, of the principles of the rule of law, on the principles of independence of judiciary, on the principles of tolerance, and so on and so forth. When we are going to look at the features, you see that capitalist democracy blends the features of capitalism and democracy. Let's quickly look at the features of capitalist democracy. Number one, supremacy of the Constitution. In a democratic setting, the Constitution prevails as the highest body of law. The same applies to capitalist democracy. The Constitution is the highest body of law, which means that the country should run based on the principles of the Constitution. Second, periodic election. In a democratic setting, precisely representative democracy, one of the features in this is that the people are given the leverage periodically, every 4 years, so to say, to select their leaders or to elect their leaders through periodic elections. For instance, in Nigeria, 2023, we had an election that brought in the new administration into the office. After a period of 4 years, another election will also be conducted, and that is what we mean by periodic election. Another feature of capitalist democracy is respect for fundamental human rights. The fundamental human rights are inalienable rights of citizens, and these rights are to be respected and they are to be cherished in a capitalist democracy. All human rights must be highly respected in a capitalist democracy. Another feature is operation of the rule of law. The rule of law simply connotes the predominance of law over and above everyone within the state, including those in office and those outside the office. Thus, the political holders must rule the people based on the principles of the rule of law without any form of arbitrariness. There is also an existence of multiple party system. One of the principles in capitalist democracy is that it gives room for multi-party system. That is, we are not running one party system like in Nigeria. We have so many political parties, ranging from PDP, APC, APOGA, AD, and so on and so forth. All these parties can work harmoniously for the growth of the nation. Another feature is press freedom. The media has the prerogative to access genuine information, to disseminate genuine information, and to give constructive criticism to the government. Popular sovereignty. Sovereignty lies with the people in a democratic setting. Tolerance is also accepted in capitalist democracy, and economic freedom is also accepted in capitalist democracy. Now, what are the things that can impede the survival of democracy in less developed states? Things like high level of illiteracy, high level of poverty, military intervention or dictatorship, one-party system, corruption, abuse of judicial power, and abuse of the rule of law. All these can militate against capitalist democracy. Having said that, let us look at political parties within capitalist democracy. When we talk about a political party, we're talking about one of the pillars of democracy. And capitalist democracy also accepts political parties. Now, what do we mean by political parties? We are talking about an association of people with similar political ideology who come together for the purpose of contesting in an election and in order to gain political powers and to control the government. So the essence of political parties is to obtain the mandates of the people during elections. And they do that through campaign and the presentation of their manifestos to convince the people and to vote them in. The fundamental objective of any political party is to obtain people's mandates and to control the government. Therefore, there is need for multi-party system in a capitalist democracy. As you can see here, you see different political parties that we have in Nigeria. In the last election, these parties participated in the presidential general elections, not just at the federal level, but as well at the state level. Now, these parties have different methods through which they compete for power in a country like Nigeria. We have political campaign, they go on campaign, they organize debate. During the election, politicians tend to attend to the needs of the people, that is welfareism of the people. They also educate and assist the people. They also design their manifesto in such a way that the people's interests will be captivated. Primary elections, integrating peoples and the group, people from different groups and ethnicity can be part of them. That therefore it brings about social and political integration, selection of credible candidates, and mobilization. With this, we are coming to the end of this class on capitalist democracy. Pause the video and do the evaluation to test yourself and to know if you are able to answer any question in this or we have done justice to this. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Click, share, and get more audience.